The Philippines and India are two countries that may seem like they share nothing in common. Yet in recent years, both of them have slowly become important partners. You see, India has seen its defense industry grow tremendously, exporting nearly $2 billion for the 2022 to 2023 financial year, and the government is targeting to reach over $5 billion by 2025. This is a huge change after the fact that India stood as one of the world's largest importers of defense technologies for much of the past few years. The Philippines, on the other hand, has faced serious geopolitical challenges. China's assertion for its so-called South China Sea has pushed the archipelago nation to acquire advanced defense equipment, much of which will be used to deter China's aggression. These goals from both India and the Philippines have aligned the two together considerably. You may have already heard of this big deal from India and the Philippines. Around 2016, there was increasing interest for the Philippines to acquire BrahMos missiles, but it was only in 2019 that serious negotiations began. This led the country to procure mobile batteries for the Philippine Army under the Land-Based Missile System program. Then, in 2021, the Philippines and India signed a government-to-government agreement on defense equipment procurement, paving the way for the sale of the missile to the Philippines. This was followed by the ceremonial signing of the contract for the shore-based anti-ship missile system acquisition project for the Philippine Navy on January 28, 2022. The BrahMos missile deal was worth $375 million and involved not only the supply of BrahMos missile batteries, but also with training for operators and maintainers and logistical support. Now, the deal size may not seem really all that big. $375 million is small potatoes for missiles nowadays, and many would argue that this BrahMos missile system is nothing but weak compared to China's arsenal, as shown by its extremely low cost. However, what you should know is that the BrahMos system is more of a value-for-money option, especially for developing countries with limited budgets, and not because it's a weak missile. The reason why the deal was low is due to the cost-effective production and development model of the Indo-Russian joint venture, BrahMos Aerospace. This joint venture between India's Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, and Russia's NPO Mashinostrovinia has managed to produce a high-speed cruise missile system at a fraction of the cost of similar Western systems, making it an attractive option for countries seeking advanced military capabilities at an affordable price. In fact, we can assert this by discussing its technical specifications. The BrahMos missile is also known as a medium-range ramjet supersonic cruise missile, which can be launched from submarines, ships, aircraft, or land platforms. It is known for its high speed, flying at nearly 3 times the speed of sound, making it one of the fastest supersonic cruise missiles in the world. Its range is approximately 290 kilometers, but there has been development towards an extended range variant, BrahMos ER, which is reported to have a reach of around 400 kilometers. There's also an ongoing development of BrahMos 2, a hypersonic cruise missile, and BrahMos NG, a smaller version suitable for deployment from various aircraft. Now, BrahMos missiles are just the start. You see, there are now ongoing talks about potential acquisition for more military equipment. As reported recently, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited is on the verge of exporting its Dhruv advanced light helicopters and other aircraft to the Philippines. This deal is set to be India's largest ever defense equipment export, valued at approximately $400 million, which will become India's largest ever export of defense equipment. The Dhruv ALH, which has seen a progressive increase in sophistication and cost, is an advanced variant of the helicopter that comes equipped with a glass cockpit, anti-vibration dampers, and various other enhancements. The maritime role fitments on the Dhruv MR include specialized equipment such as the onboard weather radar, electro-optical pod, searchlight, tractor beam, emergency flotation gear, and a very high-frequency homing device. These additions will increase the cost of each Dhruv MR. Now, it is important to also know that India has offered defense equipment to the Philippines many times in the past, but failed to win the bidding contests. The Hindustan Aeronautics Limited had once tried to make the Philippines as a potential market for the Tejas multi-role fighter jet. However, they face competition as the Philippines has shortlisted the F-16 Block 5052 and Gripen CD for their multi-role fighter program. This is one of the issues with India's defense export. While it is true that they are slowly selling million-dollar goods, they still face tight competition. And finally, we can also discuss the 5th India-Philippines Joint Commission on Bilateral Cooperation. Both countries' foreign ministers, Enrique Manalo of the Philippines and S. Jaishankar of India, discussed enhanced defense collaboration. This collaboration includes India's concessional line of credit aimed at supporting the Philippines' defense needs, particularly in areas such as naval asset acquisition, joint exercises, maritime security, and disaster response training. This military line of credit is essentially a soft loan provided at concessional interest rates to developing countries, aligning with the national priorities of the borrowing nations. The Export-Import Bank of India, Exim Bank, manages this line of credit, offering broad terms like a 1.75% interest rate, a 20-year tenor, and a 5-year moratorium. The specific amount of the loan depends on the requirements set by the Philippines. This discussion is crucial as it indicates that India is ready to give loans to the Philippines so that they can afford to acquire Indian military equipment. Now, before we end the video, we also can't miss out on the actual military partnership. India and the Philippines are not just friends for export and import purposes. There is more to it. One, for instance, is joint military exercise. In 2021, India conducted a notable naval exercise with the Philippines in contested waters, also claimed as South China Sea. This exercise involved the Indian Navy's guided missile destroyer INS Ravijay and the guided missile corvette INS Cora, along with the Philippine frigate BRP Antonio Luna. The exercises focused on several operational maneuvers and were aimed at consolidating interoperability between the two navies. These exercises have also been a point of contention for China, which has expressed concerns over defense cooperation between different countries in the region, claiming it could harm third-party interests and regional peace. The Chinese military emphasized that such cooperation should not impact the interest of other nations or destabilize the region. Okay, now that we have a clear understanding of the two's stance, we can now see why India and the Philippines are slowly becoming important military partners. It wouldn't even be impossible if one day India becomes a very important ally to the Philippines, both as a military exporter and a crucial partner in figuring out the complex geopolitical challenges that the Philippines will face in the future. But anyway, do let us know what you think. Thanks for watching.